Hello, everybody. My name's Travis, and this is the Daily Travesty. And today we are going to be doing a premiere draft of the new set, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. I've done a couple drafts so far. They've gone okay. Had a couple really nice decks, a couple bad ones, and yeah, we're gonna jump into another one and see what we can do here. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend, and if you've had an opportunity to go to a pre-release this weekend, let me know how it went. If you haven't gone yet, let me know if you're going. I wish you all success with that. And yeah, let's jump in here and see what we can do. It's been some pretty neat interaction so far with the day-night cycle stuff. So I have been enjoying that mechanic for sure. Okay, Ghoul Caller's Harvest. This isn't really a card we're that excited to look at. The decayed zombies don't really seem to matter all that much. I think in blue-black, they're nice to have because there's a lot of cards that can take advantage of them and sacrifice them or do other things with them. But outside of blue-black, it's not really something we care about. This Covert Cut Purse has been pretty good. It's really nice if your opponent double blocks one of your creatures and then you can kill two things. And just having that disturb ability to get something back has been good. Let's take a quick look here. What else is around? I'm probably going to take this Cut Purse. I think anything with Disturb on it is pretty decent. Just having two things that you can play out of one card is nice. This Falconwrath Perforator has actually been really nice for me. Really good in black, red, where it deals damage to them. And then some of your cards have extra effects if you've dealt damage to your opponent this turn. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, there's some nice cards in this. I think this Loyal Griff is fine. It flashes in. It can save one of your creatures from removal. Clear Shot is really good. 3-mana instant. And this isn't a fight card. It just deals damage. So as long as you have any creature, you're going to be able to kill something with this. This card's really nice and green. Another one of these Perforators, but I don't think we want that here. Bait Hook Angler. 2-1 with Disturb. Same thing, you get two creatures out of it. This is one of the weaker ones, but I mean, its Disturb cost is cheap. It only costs 2 to bring it back, whereas something like this Cut Purse or the other cards, they cost 5 to bring back. I think this Shadow Beast sighting is nice as well. 4-mana 4/4. You can flash it back for 7. So the cards I'm looking at would be like Clear Shot, Shadow Beast sighting. That's kind of it, and the program tells us to take Clear Shot, and I agree with the program right now. Okay, well, this Dawnheart Mentor's been pretty good. 4 toughness seems really, really good in this format. A lot of the cards that deal damage deal less than 4 damage, and a lot of the general creatures people are playing have 3 power or less. So this sets up a wall. It brings a 1/1 human with it, and if you have Coven, so 3 creatures with different powers, you can start pumping up one of your creatures to get through for trample damage. Makes it really hard for your opponent to block well. So that's nice, especially after just taking Clear Shot. Again, Shadow Beast sighting, totally happy to play this card. I think the Dawnheart Mentor is a bit better. What else? Other Gale Drifter. Search Party Captain. Sometimes you can play this as a 1-mana 2/2 or 2-mana 2/2 that draws you a card. That's pretty good. Not better than either the green cards in this situation, but something worth looking at as well. All right, what do we got here? Well, Firmament Sage is pretty good. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, draw a card. Drawing cards is good, especially in this format. I found that it does tend to be a very resource focused battle. And if you can draw a couple extra cards, you're going to be winning that battle. Famished Foragers has actually been pretty decent, mainly in black-red, where you can play this after having attacked, and then you get to also play a 3-drop with it. I think out of this pack, I'm just going to take the Eaten Alive. This kills any creature, or exiles any creature for 5 mana, or if you have something that you want to sacrifice around, it's 1 mana. That's really good. But this card's good. Firmament Sage. Maybe even Rise of the Ants. I thought Rise of the Ants is pretty good. It probably is still pretty good, but the problem with Rise of the Ants is the creatures have 3 power. And again, I've had so many cases where I have these 3 power creatures and they just can't attack because your opponent has something with 4 toughness and it's not worth it. Okay, here Well, here's a great example. This Soul Guide Griff, 5 mana 3/4 flying, has been awesome. 4 toughness on this thing. It's really hard to attack into. It's really hard to kill. I like taking these. I'm not going to take it here because we're kind of trying to do the black-green thing, but this card has been really good. I think I'll probably just take Shadow Beast Sighting as a 4 mana 4/4 that we can flash back to make another 4/4 later. This has 4 toughness and 4 power, which is great stats in this set. What else are we looking at? There's a Shady Traveler, which is fine. Silver Bolt is fine. I haven't been very impressed with Ominous Roost. I've tried this card. I've had other people play it against me, and it's never really seemed excellent. So I think it's probably better to stay away from that one. Unless there's nothing else to pick, you take it early, and then you can build around it. But even then, it hasn't seemed to be that great. We've got another one of these Soul Guide Griffs, and we're certainly not set in black yet. There's also an Immolation, which has been pretty good. Just kill something with 2 toughness. And I think that's probably what I want to take here. I do like Soul Guide Griff, but it's expensive, so I'm just going to take a cheaper card, and I'm not really interested in any of these green cards here. We're still staying a little bit open. Now, there's a couple good cards here. Falcon Abomination is really nice in blue. 3 mana 2/2 flyer, get a 2/2 Decayed Zombie. That's totally fine. Siege Zombie has actually been really good. There aren't a ton of 2-drops. Like, I find that I'm often scrounging to find 2-drop creatures, so whenever you can pick them up, you should. And this one actually has a nice ability on it. If the board stalls out or the game goes long, sometimes you just start tapping your creatures and dealing extra damage to your opponent. So I'm happy to take that here and continue on with maybe our black-green trajectory. Ooh. So Scab Wrangler, for the same kind of reason, this card has been awesome. Again, it's a 2 mana 2/1, but if you have enough creatures in play or decayed zombies, you could just start tapping your opponent's creatures with it. It's great. You can often activate it more than once at some point in the game. I think here we'll just take the Shady Traveler as a creature to have for our black and green deck. I don't think Bramble Armor's awful. I haven't played with it yet, but I think this could be a good card in a heavy creature deck. But I think we'll just try and get the creatures first. See where we end up. Well, we started out green. We haven't been seeing a ton of green, and there is a Falconwrath Perforator here to go with our Immolation and our black cards. Crawl from the Cellar is okay if you have a bunch of zombies, which we currently don't. Here's a 2 mana 3/1. I might just take this 2/1. This card is very good in black, red, whereas the green 2 mana 3/1 is just okay in a green deck. So I'm okay staying a little bit open on that. And because we haven't been seeing a ton of green, like it looks like maybe someone else at the table's in green, I might just take this black card. We have more black cards now, and maybe we're more likely to be black. And in a black-red deck, maybe Bat Whisperer is good. I haven't played with it yet. Seems a little expensive, but it might be something we look at playing. And here, we'll probably just take the red 2-drop. I've actually found this card to be quite good, where you want to tap 4 mana and make one of your opponent's creatures not block. It actually comes up quite frequently. So I'm pretty happy to have a 2 mana 2/2 that has an ability later in the game. We're not playing blue, so we'll just take this 2-drop away from somebody else. Bladebrand, totally fine. We might even end up playing that. Plummet, not something we're going to play. And now we go into pack 2. So I do like our green cards. We saw a little tiny bit of red come around, but again, we're still not fully invested in red. I think we are most likely to play black. And here we have some really, really nice options in a couple different colors. Briar Bridge Tracker is probably the best card. 3 mana 4/3, and then at some point you can sacrifice the clue it makes if you need to draw a card. Thermal Alchemist has actually been pretty good as a defensive creature, and then you just ping them down. Burly Breaker is gigantic. This card is so huge and really, really hard to deal with. There's only a few removal spells that can kill it. There's also Defenestrate, which just kills any creature. I think these green cards are better to Defenestrate, but I don't know if we're in green. So I'm just going to take the safe pick because I know that we're going to be playing black, most likely. I think both of those green cards are probably better than this. It's hard to say, but like I said, we know we're in black, so I'm just going to take the black card. Well, there's some good stuff in here. Covetous Castaway is really good in blue. We're not going to take it, but this has a really nice disturb effect. You get a 3/4 flyer. Blade Stitch Scab, really, really good in black-blue specifically. Dragon seems fine. I don't know if the extra text on this really matters, but 5 mana 4/3 seems okay. Ardent Elementalist is really good. Bring back one of your removal spells. And then another Defenestrate. I think I'm just going to take the removal spell here. I mean, I would totally play Ardent Elementalist if I was in red. That card's really good. But I would rather start with just, again, the solid cards that I know I'm going to play in my black deck and go from there. This card doesn't seem that good. It's a lot of text, but I don't think it really does what you want it to. Dualcraft Trainer's actually been decent. Gavany Silversmith has been decent. We're taking Olivia's Midnight Hunt here. Just another black removal spell. And if you have other cards that can flip day to night, this card becomes really, really good. And it's actually been fairly easy to get to the nighttime mode to be able to power this up. There's also a Famished Foragers and an Immolation here in case we end up going the red-black route rather than black-green. But we'll just keep taking black cards as long as they keep coming to us and delay making a decision on our second color until later. Borrowed Time is really good. We're not in white, we're not going to take it, but you can't really argue with 3 mana exile any permanent. Morkrut Behemoth has been awesome. Again, it's just so big, and it has Menace, and that's probably what we take here. If Morkrut Behemoth wasn't here, we'd have a little bit of an interesting pick between this red Burn the Accursed, which is good. I mean, it hits 4 toughness creatures. Maybe that. Duel for Dominance is kind of okay. This wolf is fine as well, but we're going to take the giant Behemoth and see where that takes us. And now that we're here, we're going to take one of these black creatures. I'm not sure which one I would rather have. I think Ecstatic Awakener is really good, especially if you have decayed zombie tokens. This thing is so easy to turn into a 4/4. You get to draw a card off of it. That seems really, really nice. But 2 mana 2/2, pretty solid as well. I might take the Awakener. We have an Eaten Alive and an Awakener, and I wonder if there is a case where we want to try and play some of those threatens, the red cards that steal an opponent's creature for a turn, and then you can, like, if you have 6 mana, you can then sacrifice their creature. I don't know if that's something we want to do, but we're going to set up for it here. And now we take this red spell. We haven't seen green. We didn't see a ton of green in the first pack. We're not really seeing green in pack 2, so I feel like green probably isn't open. But we've seen some red come around, so I'm going to take this red spell and maybe play black-red here. Oh, wow. Well, I say that, and then there's 2 really good green cards in this pack. 2 mana 2/2 that becomes a 3/3 and can sometimes destroy artifacts and enchantments seems really good to me. Again, another Dawnheart Mentor. This card is very good, but we are probably going to just lock in the red-black. And I think, well, I'll take Siege Zombie. I think I like Harrier better than Zombie, but again, we might still switch back to green. So I'm just going to take the cards I know I'm going to be able to play. Here I'll take the 1-drop. This Shady Traveler would be a fine pick as well. 3 mana 2/3 Menace. But I think this 1-drop's decent, and it fits really well with the black-red theme where you attack with it. Your opponent doesn't really want to block because you could make it a 3/1 first strike, so they don't block. You deal a damage to them, and then it enables things like your Bat Whisperer. So that's not bad. And then here we have another Harrier. So we're going to be totally fine. I think we're going to ship the green cards along and kind of narrow our sights in on black-red. Nothing really for us here. We'll just take the best card, which is this Covetous Castaway. Oh, nice. The Immolation came around. This is great. Kills early drops. Can sometimes help you double spell later on if you're trying to flip back from night to day for some reason. This Pestilent Wolf seems fine. There are some really big creatures with high toughness you need to kill. We're not going to take it. We're just going to take this Silver Bolt. I don't know if we'll play it, but I think this card is totally fine to play. It's basically a 4 mana deal 3, and sometimes you can destroy a werewolf. And the werewolves do get really big, so. All right. Well, we can't play this awesome white card that we opened. That's too bad. But we're not really going to worry about it that much. There is some good picks for us. Phantom Carriage is really good in blue. If you have any number of Disturb or Flashback cards, 6 mana 4/4, put a card into your graveyard is great. I think this Mysterious Tome could do well. I had it in a deck and didn't end up drawing it, so I'm not sure how good it is, but it seems like it would be decent. Here we're taking one of the red cards. Cathartic Pyre, 2 mana instant, deal 3. Moonrager Slash, 3 mana instant, deal 3, and sometimes this only costs 1. This card is awesome. I'm going to take this here over the Cathartic Pyre. I'm not sure which one's actually better. I feel like because this one can hit players as well, that's a little bit better. There was also a 2/1 Flying Interloper, which would have been fine, but we won the removal spell there. Oh, wow, there's so much for us here. So again, we would happily play these Interlopers. Would happily play another Eaten Alive. Baneblade Scoundrel has been good as well. It's a little weak with 3 toughness, but it is hard for your opponent to block. Famished Foragers is fine, but we're going to take Dreadhound. This card seems like it's going to be awesome. Comes down, mills you for a couple cards, and then anytime a creature dies, your opponent loses a life. So if you're in an aggressive deck, all of a sudden they have a really hard time trading off creatures because they just lose life every time something dies. So that's really nice for us. Here there's another Defenestrate, another removal spell. We have a ton of removal. I noticed that tends to happen quite a bit, actually, especially with the black-red decks. You end up being a little bit light on creatures and pretty heavy on removal, which steers you into a less aggressive path and more into a controlling, grindy path. Just something to keep in mind that if you do have a close pick between a good creature or a removal spell and you're black-red, maybe you opt for the good creature because you're likely to pick up removal later. Like we have this Slash, we have Defenestrate, these Immolations are fine. There's even these Silver Bolts if you need them, Eaten Alive. Like there's just so much removal and not that many great creatures. So here we'll take another Bat Whisperer. I don't know how many of these I would play if I want to play any of them, but there isn't really anything else for us here. And here we have absolutely nothing. Gavony Trapper has been really good in white just as a tapping creature, and it also has 0 power, which helps enable your Coven, where you want 3 creatures with different powers. So that card's really nice. Silversmith has been good. I think this Root Coil Creeper is really good. If you're in blue-green specifically. So there's nothing for us here. I'll just take the Creeper. And here we'll probably just take... Ooh, well, there is a kind of a pick. There's an Interloper, 2 mana, 2/1 flyer, or one of these 1-drops. How aggressive are we going to be? I'll just take the flyer. I feel like if your opponent doesn't have any flyers and you play this early, you can get in for a bunch of damage. Both those cards kind of fill the same role, the Interloper and the Stinger. Both of them are trying to peck in for damage to enable your other cards. Interloper has the issue that it doesn't block, but I mean, this 1/1 doesn't really block that well either. So we'll just take the red card here. Stolen Vitality is fine. I did play this in a deck, and using it defensively was actually pretty good. If I got in a bind, I could kill a much bigger creature and have first strike. Okay. Well, I'm going to just grab another Interloper here. Try and build our deck to be more aggressive. Here's the Threaten effect, the Pax Betrayal that gains control of a creature, but I don't think the gain control of your opponent's creature and then have an ability to sacrifice it is really that prevalent here. Oh wow, another Interloper. Well, with the 3 interlopers, we can actually get very aggressive with our deck, and that's gonna inform the decisions we make during deck building. Ooh, nice. Famished Foragers is really good. It's not as good in this deck because we don't have very many red 3-drops, but if you can get in, get 3 extra mana, get the Rummage, discard, draw a card, or you play this and then you play like a Harrier or something, that's a pretty good combination. Nothing really for us here. Electric Revelation doesn't seem great. Raise Effigy is probably fine in an aggressive deck, so maybe it ends up going in our deck. And then that's probably all we're going to end up with here. Oh, this Stinger came around. That's awesome. Well, now we can actually get very aggressive, and maybe we play some of those combat tricks and see how low to the ground we can actually make our deck. I'm not sure if that strategy is good or not. I haven't seen anyone do it to great effect, but if we look at the cards we have right now, we've got 2 Stingers, an Awakener, so 3 1-drops, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 2-drops. So we have 11 1 and 2-drop creatures. That's pretty good. We can definitely be very aggressive with this. So as those of you who watch this channel before know, when I deck build, I take the lands out, and then I start cutting cards that are the weakest. We can always add them in later, but I start taking out the things that I probably don't want to play as much. And I'm trying to get to 23 because I want to play 17 lands. If we play a very low curve, so a lot of cheap spells, we might play 16 lands. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I think Dreadhound is still going to be worth it. Morkruit Behemoth is still worth it. I don't think these Bat Whispers are anything special, so we'll take those out for now. Shady Traveler's nothing special. Cut Purse is good. I think all of these are good. I don't know if Ecstatic Awakener is actually going to be that excellent. I think this card's a little bit better if you have the Decayed Zombies to sacrifice, so I might take that out for now. Removal spell, 3 removal spells. Removal spell, Blade Brands we don't need. Silverbolt's one of the weaker removal spells. Removal spell, removal spell, removal spell. Okay, well, we definitely have enough removal. And this is 23 cards as it is, with 14 creatures. That's pretty good. I wonder if we should take out some of these more expensive cards and put in some of the combat tricks, like the +2/+2 to an attacking creature, raise the effigy. That could be good with like these 1-drops. It could be good to upgrade these into 4/4s. Can protect this for a turn. Basically with this deck, we just want to be attacking as much as we possibly can. I wonder if Famished Foragers is even that good in our deck, or if it's just a little bit too slow. Like, would we rather play Bat Whisperer and get a 1/1 flyer to attack with? Maybe. I think this card is still good enough. And actually, because this thing is so powerful, and the Dreadhound, that would make me want to play Stolen Vitality a bit more, because this gives an attacking creature trample. So even if they block your gigantic creature, you can trample over. We also have the Interlopers, which could attack for 5 damage. Yeah, interesting. I have a feeling that having 1 combat trick is probably good, and this one has a little bit more utility. This one basically only helps when you're attacking, doesn't give trample. So I think I'm going to put this Stolen Vitality in, and maybe we can play 16 lands in this deck. If we do that, we have 14 creatures. Most of our cards are 1s and 2s. We have a couple 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6. Plus Burn the Accursed. creature count here is a little bit light. I probably want a couple more creatures usually in an aggressive deck. 14 is kind of the lowest I would go. I wonder if we have too many removal spells. Is that even possible? Maybe we get rid of one of these immolations. I think we could probably get away with 16 mana. How often do we switch day to night? That does actually matter for our deck because Olivia's Midnight Ambush and Moonranger's Slash are actually really, really good when it's nighttime. They're like much, much better. And we don't actually have anything that switches day to night. So I could see a reason, that being a reason to put in something like this Shady Traveler that can just give us a little bit of control over the day-night cycle. Just to have the ability to make some of these spells better. And then because of that, maybe we're supposed to take out one of the Defenestrates. These cards are really good. I would definitely always play it, but I mean, if they have a bunch of flyers, they don't do anything. So that can sometimes be a liability. I do want one more creature probably. So I think I am going to add the Shady Traveler. And then because of that, we have to take something out. It's possible we're just supposed to take out Burn the Accursed. Although this does deal damage directly to the opponent, which is really nice as well. And it's instant speed. I think Stolen Vitality and the 2 Immolations are probably our worst cards. But Stolen Vitality, well, I guess it doesn't buff these creatures that much. Like, it doesn't make Falconwrath Perforator survive, because a 2/2 will still kill it. Yeah, maybe Stolen Vitality just isn't good enough. I would like, if we had to pick between cutting Stolen Vitality and Defenestrate, I would rather get rid of this pump spell and just keep the hard removal. So Immolation is also something we could consider cutting one of. Kind of tough to say here. Probably just take out the combat trick and run with this with 16 lands. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 expensive spells, and everything else costs 3. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be fine. So let's go add some lands to this. We have 14 black spells, 10 red. And yeah, we do, well, I mean, we kind of want to play both. Yeah, I think this is going to be fine. Oh, actually, we wanted 16 lands. So taking a look at our deck, this is what we have. We have a lot of low-cost creatures backed up by a lot of removal. And we are going to hope to do well. Hey, Maverick, how's your day going? Become what you fear. What I fear is someone that spends all their money and time playing Magic, and I have become that. So we're going to go ahead and run with this deck and see how we do in some Premier Draft. Maverick, have you had a chance to play with any of the new cards yet? Okay, well, this hand looks a little bit suboptimal, but we do have something to deal with an early threat and then some top end. And our deck does have a lot of cheap removal and creatures, so hopefully we'll draw something like another land. Yay! That's exactly what I wanted. Just in case. Now we have Dreadhound mana, and we do not need to draw anymore. So this, oh yeah, thanks Arena. So this shows why these disturbed creatures are so good. I could use Immolation here, but it just gives them access to another creature, so I'm just not gonna kill this thing. Play our Shady Traveler. Okay, Maverick, you got the discount draft token. Yeah, I bought that and used it and immediately... I think I went like 1-3 or something, but we're back anyway. We're back here again. So, oh, it's nighttime. Nice. I apologize if it started to lag here. I've been having some issues with my internet lately, and if it's laggy, again, that's not a great experience for you. Those of you that are watching, so I apologize for that, and obviously no shame if you decide to leave. Nobody wants to sit here and watch the lagginess. All right, well, I feel like the thing to do would be to play Dreadhound. I'm a little bit worried that they have a counter spell that they're trying to play, but let's just see what happens when we attack here. There's a world where we're supposed to just pump this and play Lambhold Carrier. Because I don't really want to run Dreadhound into a removal spell, and our opponent did nothing on turn 3, nothing on turn 4. So I think I would rather just try and get in for damage. They might just have a bounce spell here. But if they want to bounce or counter Lambhold Harrier, that's fine. Walmart's Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's too true, right? Okay, so they did have a counter spell there. Well, I'm glad that we didn't counter our Dreadhound. I'm still going to save Immolation. I don't think I really need to worry about this peasant yet. Yeah, I don't know what it is, Maverick. The last couple weeks, I've noticed every time I've tried to stream, the deck building and the drafting goes totally fine, but as soon as I connect to a match, it goes super poor, and it probably just can't handle it. I don't know what's going on with my internet. I guess we're just supposed to attack first, hey? I mean, there's no way they block here, but my plan is to attack, and then I will use Immolation on the 3-2, even though they can bring it back as a 2-2. That costs them 5 mana, and they have to spend a turn to do it. And we're going to have Dreadhound. So play Dreadhound first, because when we use Immolation on Gale Drifter, it's going to die, and we can deal an extra damage to them. Yeah, if it continues to be laggy like this, I will just stop streaming after this first game. Sorry about that, but hopefully you did get some value out of watching the drafting process. And oh man, we are getting beat down here. What are the odds you think they have a counter spell for this Dreadhound, hey? Can we beat them without playing a spell? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can make this a 5-1 and still play Falconwrath Perforator. Deal 5, they go to 9. We have this to block. We can attack again next turn. Yeah, maybe we're just supposed to pump up our Stinger. I mean, I assume they left mana open to counter Dreadhound. And if they want to use their counter spell on Perforator, that's totally fine with me. I mean, we are very close to dead, so we do have to be careful here. Okay, Immolation. I just don't really want to run Dreadhound into a counterspell, but we're probably going to have to play it now. Ooh, actually, now we don't. All right, well, let's just boldly charge forward. And just keep smashing for 5. Startle? Sure. It's fine. We'll play our other Stinger. We can block